Coming up on First at 4, with restrictions starting to be lifted, restaurants can soon have limited in-person dining. One place in eastern Kentucky wants that moment to be memorable. And some Kentuckians who filed for unemployment back in March still say they have not received any sort of help.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, it is more than 2 months since some Kentuckians received a paycheck or any new money. Last week, more than 69,000 additional unemployment claims were filed, but some who filed all the way back in mid-March say they have yet to receive any money. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to a Corbin man who was laid off at CTA Acoustics. He says despite doing everything right, he feels like he's doing it all wrong.
After losing his job March 15th, Diedrich Polk said he was finally able to get his claim approved on April 5th.
Said it's been approved, but no checks released. So it's doing the same thing every 2 weeks. It's saying that these weeks are going in. I'm getting credit for these weeks, but nothing.
Throughout the process, he says he's only spoken to a person once, and that person was no help because they said they were not qualified.
I don't understand, why is there one person, tier 1, who can answer a phone but can't give you any information? That seems like a wasted time, just having somebody to pick up the phone and say, well, we have to pass you on to somebody else.
What we've learned through this process is you can't solve something just by throwing more people at them. You got to get good people and the right people. We've learned a little bit of that in answering the phones and unemployment.
The governor told us yesterday that they have completed 90% of the unemployment claims from late March into early April. However, we continue to get phone calls and emails and messages from people who say that they believe they are doing every single thing right and filling out their claims, but still not getting paid. And Polk says he's getting mixed signals on why he still has not received a payment.
But as of today, on my thing, everything is still the same. It says there's no issue with my identity, none of it. But there's still no check being released.
The governor said Thursday that red tape with federal government bureaucracy could be behind some of these current problems. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News. In Frankfort,
state officials say more than 742,000 Kentuckians have filed unemployment claims. Voters in Kentucky will soon be able to request an absentee ballot. The head of the Kentucky Board of Elections says the state will launch a website next Friday for registered voters. Voters can either return the completed ballot by mail or drop it off in person at their county clerk's office. At least one precinct will still be open in each county for in-person voting on June 23rd, the new primary date. More than 15% of West Virginia's registered voters requested absentee ballots for their June 9th primary election. The Secretary of State said nearly 215,000 absentee ballots were requested. Nearly 87,000 of those ballots, or 7.1% of registered voters, were returned to county clerks. All registered voters are permitted to use an absentee mail-in ballot under the other medical reason excuse due to the coronavirus. In-person voting runs from May 27th through June 6th. Again, this is West Virginia. The last day to register to vote in the West Virginia primary is May 19th. With empty dining rooms, restaurants across the Commonwealth spent the last 2 months without any inside sit-down service. But as WYMT's Connor James shows us, some are using that time to make their reopening days much more memorable.
The folks here at Big Blue Smokehouse are like most people at restaurants right now, working to get by on what they can do with takeout and curbside pickup. But people here are also preparing for when they can reopen to 33% capacity and unlimited patio seating. Owners here say a lot of their revenue comes through catering, especially those big events like weddings that draw in crowds of 400 or so people, but those events have stopped. But in their downtime, they've done quite a bit of renovating on the inside, new tables, seating, a new floor, and they're also working on expanding their capabilities to go outside. In an area that used to just once be an alleyway for their smoker, they're now working on putting roughly 40 to 50 seats outside for patio seating. Now, the owners here say they're just excited to get back open.
been here almost 8 years, and the people you make relationships with, you didn't know them before they started coming in, but they become regulars, and you get a good rapport with them, and we'll be looking forward to seeing all of our people.
Now, overall, the owners here say roughly they've been hit with about 90% of their business impacted because of everything COVID-19 related. But like I said before, they're just excited to open back up. I'm in Hazard, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Owners say they're also going to be taking all the necessary steps to sanitize and promote healthy social gatherings. There are now more than 1.4 million confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the United States, and more than 85,000 people have died. A new CBS News poll finds a large majority of the public still prioritizes staying home to slow the outbreak over reopening the economy. But there is now a growing gap between Republicans and others on reopening. Chinese health officials are stepping up their coronavirus testing and screening. The city of Wuhan, where the outbreak originated, is testing all 11 million of its people in what they call a 10-day battle due to the city's limited testing capacity. Wuhan city government reported on April 19th that the city had the capacity to test 46,000 people, but it remains a huge gap from the 1 million a day needed to complete the testing of everyone. This mass testing comes just days after 6 locally transmitted cases were reported in the city.
After kind of a gloomy day yesterday, we saw an absolutely gorgeous day here today in the mountains, and we're still seeing those great conditions even right now. Let me take you to a couple of our cameras so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. If you look up on top of Buffalo Mountains, you can see they've seen a nice mix of that sun and clouds all day today, and we've seen similar conditions throughout the mountains, such as into Jackson, and you can see they are still very warm, even at 82 degrees currently. So they're still in those 80s. A lot of us saw these warm temperatures today. Hopefully you were able to get outside and enjoy this nice weather we have been seeing, because we've pretty much stayed on the dry side all day today. Now, if you look at satellite and radar, you can see over the past couple of hours, we have had a few stray pop-ups coming into our area, but other than that, we mainly stayed on that drier side, and this is going to be mostly the trend we see going into those evening hours tonight. But I mean, we are still seeing lots of those warm temperatures, a few of us still in those 80s, some of us though in those 70s now, and we'll start to cool down as we head into those evening hours, but we've still got plenty of time to get out and enjoy these nice warm temperatures here if you have not done so already. And as we head into tonight, we will cool down into those lower 60s, but that's still on the warmer side, so we're actually looking like a pretty nice night ahead. We'll stay on that drier side and see just a few clouds here and there, but I mean, we'll see more sunshine as we head into tomorrow as well, but we're also going to see some rain chances coming back in as we head into those later hours and our weekend, but I'll break those down for you here in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Brooke. Are domestic violence cases increasing during the pandemic? The Rising Center in Hazard says they have seen an increase in calls and visits from domestic violence victims during the past couple of weeks. WYMT's Dakota Makris sat down with Rising Center officials about how you can protect yourself if you need help.
Behind these walls, we find Tara Combs, the program director for the Rising Center. The past 2 weeks, the center saw an increase of domestic violence related calls.
We have seen a significant increase, probably about 25% increase in calls, either coming through our crisis line. Most of them are showing up at our door.
Combs says the victims reported their attackers now have more access to resources from the stimulus checks, such as drugs and alcohol.
Have more money at their disposal to purchase whatever substances they misuse, and when they become intoxicated, they become more aggressive and seem to be targeting them more.
And another reason for the calls, staying at home during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are hearing just the fact that they are so isolated and no one else has eyes on them. Their perpetrators don't really need to cover up whatever kind of abuse.
Hazard Chief of Police Minor Allen.
We take domestic violence very seriously.
And his officers work tirelessly to make sure victims can get help when they need it.
We have a tip line that they could go on our website and leave us a tip, or they could call anonymously.
Offering a message of support to victims.
We have people here who care about you and want to help you, and we will do everything that is within our power to provide that help to you.
In Hazard, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, you can call the Rising Center Crisis Hotline 24 hours a day at 1-800-262-7491. We will have more information on ways you can find help on our website, WYMT.com. It was a dangerous situation for a police officer in Whitley County Tuesday night during a traffic stop in the Poplar Creek community. A trooper with Kentucky State Police said they saw drugs in plain view and asked the driver to get out. Police say 21-year-old Randy Sullivan refused. Sullivan is then accused of hitting the gas, striking the trooper, and dragging him with the car. The trooper then shot Sullivan. Sullivan was taken to UK Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The trooper did not sustain any serious injuries. Sullivan is charged with attempted murder of a police officer along with drug charges. A passenger in the car was also arrested. Aggravated burglary charges against Angela Boswell were dropped this morning. Angela is the grandmother of Evelyn Boswell, who was at the center of an Amber Alert in February in East Tennessee. Evelyn Boswell was found dead in March. Angela's charges are related to a reported break-in and unrelated to Evelyn's death. A judge found probable cause to charge Angela with theft less than $10,000, among others. She has a separate case in Bristol related to a stolen vehicle, which was sought by investigators in Evelyn's case. Senator Richard Burr is stepping down as chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee as the FBI investigates stock trades he made after coronavirus briefings. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made the announcement today, saying he and Burr agreed this was in the best interest of the committee. Burr was scrutinized for selling up to $1.7 million in stocks in February after he got closed-door briefings about the virus. He claims he did not do anything wrong and made the trades based solely on public information, not information from the committee. Burr did ask the Senate Ethics Committee to review the sales. Coming up on First at 4, is your child playing too many video games during the quarantine? Why experts say that may not be a bad thing.
And the warmer trend continues, but we will see some scattered showers as we head into our weekend. I'll have those details coming up.